and welcome to The View.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Barbara, I feel like there should be some big old music. That is quite an outfit because you're like Lana Turner in a movie.
No, you need to wear it.
Stand up for a second because it's kind of amazing.
I bought this in the fall. I wore it on a special on 10 Most Fascinating People.
Right.
But this, you know how it gets a certain, I wear, as most of you know, I wear my own clothes in this show.
Right.
Yes. And this is sort of the last outing before spring. Then it gets put away until...
So you wrap it up and you can't wear it again.
I'm amortizing it.
Do you ever name your jackets? You know, like the Tom Cruise blazer, like the ones, all the interviews you've done. Harrison Ford jacket.
She's pregnant. That's what that is.
Oh.
I mean, her interviews are big and she wears good jackets.
Yeah, well, that's... I mean, that's...
I'm going to name this my Elizabeth Hasselbeck jacket.
Thanks. Does that mean I get it?
No. Moving on.
Well, listen, you know, AIG is officially now public enemy #1.
Yeah.
But people are taking things to a whole new level. Yeah. Okay, they're picketing outside employees' homes. They're making threats like, get the bonus and we'll get your children. And watch your backs because someone will come to get you, you can be sure. Now, has this gone too far? Is it a form of class warfare? What the hell?
You know, scapegoating. It's scapegoating, I think, a lot of it, because, you know, you don't know where to put your rage in this economy. People are losing their jobs like crazy. And it puts a face on why you're mad. You know, these people actually specifically took money, so you have a face to be upset with.
And I think it's also, too, I think you got a lot of people look at it as you're being insensitive to my needs. You got people like Bernie Madoff's wife who's going, this $60 million is mine, knowing good and well your husband allegedly took this money, and people are being insensitive to the needs of folks that don't have anything, that have lost everything.
You know, you shouldn't provoke envy. You know, the Italians have this thing about the evil eye. You know, like if you see a beautiful child, you say, oh, how beautiful, and they go like this, like to ward off
people do it too. They go, you know,
because you're taking eyes on the child, and then the child will be harmed.
Too.
A lot of people do. Well, I can only speak
by the way, two things. You know that if you send a threat through the mail, it's a federal offense.
Yeah.
The same is true for emails, and a lot of these people don't know that, and some of them are signing their names, and you can be fined or face up to 5 years in prison. You send a threatening. I don't mean saying, you know, I don't know what, you're a bad person, but if you say, I want to kill you, I want to kill you. But, you know, I was thinking, because we were talking about sort of the anger at the rich.
Right.
And I think all of us, none of us have on this table have inherited anything, and we've all worked very hard, so we know what it is to not have it or to have it.
Right.
But there's such anger at the rich now, and I was thinking, you know, but it is the rich who endow so many of the universities so that our kids can have scholarships, and who give special equipments and wings to hospitals which help people, and support museums and libraries and charities and research into cancer and heart attacks and
jobs for other people.
So I mean, I think this is the anger of the haves and the have-nots, but we shouldn't dump everything.
They were saying this morning, Brzezinski was on this morning, and he was saying that these people who made this particular kind of money did not create jobs with their wealth. They actually just took money out of the system.
Why are we not focused
This is a different kind of money that people are angry at.
This is all displaced anger, and I think that you kind of hit on it earlier, Joy. When you have, ironically, last week was it Barney Frank behind the loudest microphone ever, a megaphone, calling for these AIG people to give the money back when he's at the base of the problem. If we go back and see what he did in terms of handing out and approving all these bad loans, the wrong people are being blamed. What about those that didn't read this entire contract that allowed these bonuses to be spent? Where's Chris Dodd? Why don't we talking to him?
So, he's in trouble. They're all in trouble. They're all in trouble. But the question really is, it's not so much, I guess what I'm asking is not, should you be angry? Of course you should be angry, and there are many people to be angry with. You know, one of the things that happens, I found as I watched some of the hearings, is that people were not listening, because a lot of the anger was directed at people who were actually hired, brought in to fix it. So a lot of those guys are eating. But my question is, when is the line crossed? Now, when I say take Bernie Madoff and put him in a park and let one person at a time go in and try to find him and beat him up.
the idea that is refreshing.
It is refreshing, but it's
violent. Would it be threatening if you sent an email?
Well, no, but would it be wrong if I said, and he had little kids, I'm going to get his kids, go out and get his kids? Is that the line? Is the line saying, I want to kick your butt? Or is it, I want to hurt your family?
I would rather get the money back than hit anybody, to tell you the truth. I just want the money back.
The violence. I think it's a line when you're violent.
What we're talking about is legitimate rage and pain.
Right.
I mean, there were pictures in the paper today of people living in tents in this country. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is don't smear everybody.
No, that's true.
Right. But you know, it's just hard when you feel like there's such a disconnect from people who are working so hard and they're losing things at such a rapid rate, and you see people who just go, no, it's mine, I want to take it.
That's
you
total
feel like
insensitivity in these.
Yeah,
and we've been talking about that.
But not all rich people are like that. Not all people who have are like that. And so, you have to take it on a case by case. But when you're pissed, it's like everybody.
And the problem now is the divide has gotten enormous. The rich, rich, and the poor, poor. And it's not right.
And the numbers of people who are in that situation.
That's not what this country's about. This country's about the middle class.
That's what they're trying to correct.
Right. Well, it should be.
Everybody rises to the middle.
Everybody knows that. What they're trying to do now is to find some ways in this economic plan to have those who don't have it.
Yeah.
But I thought the country was about Americans.
Not about one class or another class.
Yeah, because that's not the way at least that's not the way I was raised.
We should have it for class.
It should sort of be, we're all sort of trying to look after each other. And what we've discovered is that there are certain guys and gals who have come along who said, you know what, I'm looking out for me. And I'm going to eat your family while I'm doing it.
Seems like it's a lot of people that we're not looking out for you. I'm getting mine and
everybody
whatever.
had the basics. People wouldn't have this type of rage. Nobody cares if people are rich. Yeah. What they care about is, I need health care for my family.
That's what we're trying
to do. I want my kids to go to school. I want food on the table and a job. You give everybody that, everybody's happy.
But that's what we're trying to do, and then they complain, well, we're giving too much. We shouldn't worry about health care. We need to give more. This is the time when we are trying to give as much as we can to help the have-nots.
Well, it's really hard. And before we go, Elizabeth, you can speak to this issue. Are they actually singing on American Idol, or is it all BS and we're just being taken for a ride, like with AIG?
Is it it's an AI without the G.
I mean, are they lip-syncing?
American Idol.
Are they lip-syncing?
Are they? They had, I guess in those group performances that they still insist on doing, they apparently, the last time they sang, they all pulled the microphones away, but their voices were still being heard.
Yeah, they're singing over a pre-recorded track.
They're singing over their tracks.
But it's also
not during the actual performances that you vote on, because I was there. No. It's just during those commercials and those
I would like to point out that everything that you have heard so far this morning, we have all been lip syncing.
Now, did you have a clip to show?
Yeah, do we have time?
We have time because we can go out with it.
Last night, we had, well, first of all, I'm still a Goki gal, but Adam Lambert turned it around from being so awful last week. David Goki, who I think is great, but he sang The Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson, and check him out. Got us standing up.
All of the songs last night were Motown songs, and sitting in the audience was Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy. And that gave it a whole other dimension.
Well, I just want to say, we need you to come right back with more hot topics. Yeah.